need I tell you one-on-one? If you are a talker, stop on in and have a chat with Greg Walker. One-on-one, let me tell you, brother, there's been imitators, but there'll never be another.
Oh. Hello, welcome to One-on-One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. Got a good guest today. Good gentleman, as a matter of fact. Retired teacher, coach. And he did it for a lot of years, and he did it around some great company. Dick Hopper, Richard Hopper, actually, as we call him, is our guest on the show today. Only his old friends call him Dick. And we're going to get to know him much better, get his thoughts, opinions, and comments on a wide array of subject matter. Please settle back, relax, and enjoy a fun, down-to-earth conversation with a gentleman I really like. Richard Hopper, the coach, visits with us after these words.
The model year-end sales event continues at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's favorite new car dealer. Save big on 400 new. We're making room for 2017s. $8,188 off a new Altima. $6,388 off a new Rogue. $7,888 off a new Maxima. Buy a new Versa, $9,999. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices, Matthews Nissan.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
For 100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has honored legacies. We believe every family deserves a special time of celebrating a life well lived.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome to our show today. The old coach, Richard Hopper. Dick, how are you, bud?
I'm very well, Greg. How you doing?
Another day in paradise.
We're there.
We're there, buddy. I mean, and you and I, we done got to the age now, we appreciate these days, don't we?
Every day's a gift.
It really is. It really is, and that's a good way to look at it. Boy, Dick, you've, overall, wouldn't you say you've been blessed in your life?
Oh, good Lord has blessed me in so many ways.
How's those girls of yours? How are all of them doing?
Oh, they're doing great. Got a daughter in D.C., outside D.C. at Dumfries. I've got a daughter in Mount Juliet that works in Nashville. I've got 2 daughters by marriage.
They're just like your gals.
They're my girls. Nicole is in Covington, Georgia, and Camille lives 2 doors down the street for me. She's here in Clarksville.
Y'all spend a lot of time together, don't you?
We do. We eat supper together almost every night.
My goodness gracious. I guess that helps, doesn't it?
It has been a great blessing.
Yeah, it has. Because, you know, as we tape this show on January 11th, you had a great loss last year, and it's hard to overcome. And having somebody like Camille obviously helps.
Don't know what we'd do without her.
You, even though you're retired teacher and coach, and we'll talk about that, you still stay a little busy. I mean, you work out of Swan Lake, don't you?
I'm working at Swan Lake. I'm seasonal, but Jeff has pulled me back early
Jeff
this
Vaughn.
year. Jeff Vaughn. Jeff's
go ahead.
A great guy to work with.
He is. And, you know, he worked with me. He kept stats with me for a bunch of years. High school basketball when you were with Ben.
Right. Now, Jeff mentioned that about 30 minutes before I came over here.
Really?
He did.
No kidding. Had a lot of great memories, a lot of fun times. We had a lot of laughs. He's a fun guy to work around, I'd say.
Absolutely. Jeff is, like I said, work with. I can't really say working for, because he's a partner in what I do.
Right.
He helps me out.
I understand. I understand exactly. I know how he is. I know how you are. Do you ever miss coaching?
Every now and then I do, and then I get over it real quick.
How many years did you coach, Dick?
I coached 42 years.
42 years. And now you went to college, bless your heart. You're from Princeton.
I'm from Princeton, Kentucky.
You have any brothers and sisters?
I
siblings?
do not. I'm an only child.
Only child. All right, but you grew up in Princeton, so you went to Murray State.
I did.
How were those days?
Oh, I loved Murray. Murray is a great school to go. It was a hometown atmosphere.
Yeah.
Much like Clarksville is for the students that go to Austin Peay. A lot of my classmates went to Austin Peay. A lot of my classmates went to Western. We had 3 OVC schools in close proximity, and it kind of split our class. But Murray was great to me.
What year was that you went to Murray?
I graduated high school in 1960, started in the fall of 60 at Murray. I graduated from Murray in January of 65. I changed majors in the middle of my experience, and I also did advanced core ROTC, so it took me 4.5 years. I graduated with 143 undergraduate semester hours because of all that extra.
Mm-hmm. Was Cal Luther the basketball
Cal
coach?
Luther was the basketball coach. Cal Luther, I got to know Cal Luther while I was there.
He's a nice fella.
A very, very nice man.
Yeah, I got to know him too. He does color some for UT Martin, you know, and I got to know him also. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I got to know him by just going down in the gym and playing ball, and I spent my spare time in the practice room at the music building, playing my horn. And
what horn you play?
I play trumpet.
Do you?
I played trumpet since 3rd grade.
I didn't know that.
But I would either be there or I'd be in the gym shooting basketball. Any spare time I had outside of studies.
What started your love of sports?
What started? I guess just as a kid, I wanted to play ball so bad, and my parents would not allow me to play sports.
Really?
They would not. I joined the band unbeknownst to them. I came home and told my parents, I said, I need a trumpet. And they got me an old trumpet that leaked like a sieve. And I played that thing, and but I wanted to play sports so bad, and my parents said, no, so you're in a band, and your major job in school is your studies. They would not let me have a job during school, and they would not let me not have a job in the summer. I had to work all summer long.
Right.
And I can appreciate that. My parents taught me, they taught me a lot about work ethic, and what you have to do to make it in this world.
What brought you to Clarksville, Dick?
Well, tennis.
Yeah.
I was coaching tennis at Princeton. I started a program there. And we played, was over to Hopkinsville one day, and we met, I met Dan Burden. I was over to play Hopkinsville's tennis team, and Dan was over there to play the girls' tennis team, and they weren't there. They had gone to Murray. They got their dates mixed up. And Dan and I got to talking, and he said, well, we need to schedule. So we did. And I played Clarksville High 2 times that year, and every year for 6 years, 2 times.
Right.
I had to brag a little bit. We won all 12 of them. But it was close. It was always good matches. And Johnny Miller would coach one year, Dan would coach another year. And they kept telling me after about the 3rd year, you need to come to Clarksville. We're just doing this so the kids can have a team. And you're a dedicated tennis coach.
Right.
Well, 1971, down here playing in the July 4th tennis tournament, Dan said, "This is the year." And I said, "What's happening?" He said, "Well, Johnny's gone to the academy as assistant headmaster, and I'm going to be elevated to head football coach. I'm going to resign assistant basketball." He said, "If you come down here, you can have head tennis and assistant basketball both."
Oh, that assistant basketball, music to your ear.
Well, I was doing a little grade school coaching at Princeton, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. But I would never advance at Princeton. There were 3 guys sitting in front of me that had starred at Caldwell County High School, and they were all teaching and coaching. And I was not going to leapfrog those guys.
Yeah.
Even if I could have, it would have been the wrong thing to do. And so I just said, well, I looked at my wife and I said, "We need to go to Clarksville." And it's the best decision I ever made.
Right.
Clarksville has really been good to me.
How was it? Now, Ben didn't hire you. Dan Burden did, but you're working for Ben Finley. Now, a name widely known. You know what I'm saying? How was it being his assistant early on?
Oh, it was wonderful. The first year, of course.
Now, you told me first 2 years you didn't even speak on the bench.
Well, you're right. That was something, I was so intimidated. I was learning a new system, not totally new. I had run, with my grade school kids, I had run the 3rd, the circle,
The option.
and the 4th
Out of the
option
option.
with my grade school kids because Joe, oh my goodness, the coach at Princeton was running the shuffle, and I was just teaching the kids some little shuffle cuts and things so that they could come up for him. But I didn't know the intricacies of that offense.
Yeah.
I had no idea how it turned over, how it worked, and it just fascinated me to see then that we had 5 options, that if you take those options and you could run them from one to the other, and it was all keyed on the pass and the cut. It just blew my mind how that this thing could work.
Yeah.
And so I studied Ben Finley for 2 years on that bench, and it was like going to college.
And we're going to talk more about Ben and talk about going to college. Richard Hopper, the coach, visiting with us today. We'll be back with Dick right after this.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Welcome back. Coach Richard Hopper, Dick Hopper, joined us today. He's retired. He works part-time over at Swan Lake, but still highly involved, still a great sports fan, keep up with sports.
Watch sports all the time.
All the time. We were talking about he just started at Clarksville High, and he was Ben Finley's assistant. You were coaching tennis. And how many years were you with Ben?
I was with Ben 21 years total. I was his assistant for 19 of those years. And Miss Richardson asked me to do the girls' basketball for 2 years in 84, 85, 85, 86. In the 84, 85 year, I was coaching the girls, and the assistant coach resigned, the assistant boys coach resigned in January and walked out. And Ben came to me, he said, Coach, I need some help. He said, I've got a freshman team that has to have somebody working with them. So I said, well, if you'll let me start practice at 7 in the morning, we were starting class at I guess it was 6:30 in the morning because we were starting class at 8 o'clock. I said, I'll work an hour in the morning with them. So I went over there in the morning and I coached freshman boys for an hour and then taught English all day and then coached girls basketball in the afternoon.
You were busy.
I was busy, but I just felt tied to the program.
You know, and you were his main man for all of these years. Y'all built up a great relationship. Am I not right?
We did. He's one of the best friends that I've ever had.
Yeah. When did he give you the keys? How did that come about? How did that work? How did you feel? Tell me about that.
You're talking about when he retired?
Yeah, when he handed you the program, basically.
Well, Ben handed me the program a year late. He took care of me. We had a young team. His last year, he had a losing season, only the second one he'd ever had.
He wasn't going to leave you with a losing season.
And he had a group of sophomores. I had coached them. Actually, they were juniors that year. Anterior Parchman, Garland Strang, and some of those guys. Anterior Parchman and Garland Strang and Chad Morgan. They were all juniors. I had coached them as JV players. Yeah. And he knew they were going to have a struggle that year, and he stayed on. At the end of 92, he resigned and turned them over to me. And, you know, we had a great year. We were 25-6 the next year.
Who'd you have?
I had Garland Strang, I had John Vaughn, I had Chad Morgan, I had, Trenton Hassel was a freshman.
Well, so was Sean Marion.
No, wait a minute. Sean was a freshman. Trenton wasn't with us then.
Yeah.
Trenton came on the next year. Sean was a freshman, but he never suited up. Sean was a raw talent.
Absolutely.
One of the best athletes I've ever seen. And when he was a freshman, he was playing for Bob Darby on the freshman team. Couldn't shoot a lick. And he'd throw the ball up on the backboard, go rebound it, and put it in the hole. It was, I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I got you. I know you're serious.
And then as a sophomore, he played JV a little bit. And then I started him on the varsity.
I would hope.
And
he developed into something special.
He was a starter on the varsity.
Along with Trenton.
No, Trenton didn't come along. Well, that's right.
Yeah,
but Trenton didn't start his freshman year.
No,
Chad Morgan.
But he did start his sophomore year.
Yeah, Chad Morgan was a starter, and Trenton shared time with Chad.
Your best team when you had Marion and Trenton.
We should have won state tournament.
Who were the other players, the role players on that team?
Well, we had a lot of role players that year, Greg. We went 20-0 in one stretch.
Yeah.
I started 6 different guards, 3 different guard combinations during that time period for various reasons. Mm-hmm. The first of the year I had at camp when we went to Tennessee Tech, I had...
By the way, for you folks who don't know the name Trenton Hassel and Sean Marion, they went on to stellar NBA careers. Sean, a magnificent career, as a matter of fact.
I had a boy named Mo Majors.
Yeah.
That was a point guard.
Yep.
And I had a 2-guard Montgomery boy, Reno. And Then I had Sean and Trenton, and I had oh, come on now.
I wish I could help.
Oh yeah, he's a Facebook friend of mine. But anyway, played the post player for me. I won't call him Cowboy because that's what he goes on Facebook. But Miller, and he was a good player. He was an undersized post player,
Right.
but he had the big guys on each side of him.
Yeah.
And so we were really tough.
Y'all were special.
We won the camp up at Tennessee Tech. Schools out of Atlanta, Douglas, Marietta, Georgia, Redan, all that Atlanta area, South Gwinnett, North Gwinnett, some of the Columbia, some of the best teams in the country. We were playing Columbia in the Monday night highlight game at the Eblin Center just before the dunk contest, and we were tied with Columbia at the 5-second mark, and the ball was out of bounds under their basket. They had it.
Yeah.
And I called timeout, and I told the guys, I said, look, we got to get this ball. And I said, we're going to line up in a 2-3 zone, and we're going to force them to pass the ball to the right wing. And I said, Trenton, you and Mo, when the ball hits in the air, you rush the wing. And David Alford was playing at that time. And I said, David, you close off the post. I said, Reno, the ball is yours because the only guy that's open is going to be the off guard. Reno came out of the back of the pack there, stole that ball, went down. He was about 5'11", and he dunked it. and I thought, man, we've got a ball team. Well, various things happened. Reno left school. Mo left school at the end of the first semester. I lost a kid to grades. It was another kid. And I lost another kid to injury. I had a point guard transfer in from the academy that played over there, and he sat there and learned the offense during the fall, and he ended up playing for us. But we were a special team, and we used in that time period 6 guards, and still continued. The 2 big guys.
How far did y'all go, Dick?
We got beat in the sub-state, and I really felt like that was in 95. That was in 95. But we got beat in sub-state in 95, and I really felt like that if we could have beaten Overton, we lost 3 points down there, that we could have won a championship in 96. You get a year down there, you get the same kids back. Yeah. Sean had a growing injury that night. He was about 70%. He was on crutches on Sunday and played ball Monday night. Uh-huh. It was a close game. We should have. I was thinking we would win that game, and we didn't. But we played in '96. We played Memphis East.
I remember I was there. That was at Murfreesboro State.
Yeah, and we played them. And
they had a point guard by the name of Tony.
Tony. Right.
What?
Tony Wright. Tony.
No, I went on to UT.
Harris. Tony Harris. Tony Harris. Yeah. Right. And we got out-Tony'd in the 4th quarter.
Yes, sir.
We held him in check for 3 quarters.
But he went wild in the 4th. Dick Hopper, stretch run right after this.
The model year-end sales event continues at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's favorite new car dealer. Save big on 400 new. We're making room for 2017s. $8,188 off a new Altima. $6,388 off a new Rogue. $7,888 off a new Maxima. Buy a new Versa, $9,999. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews
100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home has celebrated legacies with services as unique as each life.
Neil Tarpley Parchman, people who care, a name you can trust.
We got about 2.5 minutes left today. It's gone quick, Coach. That stroll down memory lane does it, doesn't it?
It does.
You know, thinking back all the times. And it's hard. You start thinking about all these players and trying to get the year straight. Rough. What's the best advice Coach Dick Hopper's ever received?
Well, I think it goes back, I was just maybe 6, 7 years old. Walking down Main Street in Princeton, and town drunk stops my daddy, and he's talking to him, and he's reeking, and he's not very coherent, and they stand there and talk for about 10 minutes. And when we left, I looked at Daddy and I said, why do you want to talk to him?
Yeah.
And my daddy stopped, and he just looked me straight in the eye, and he said, son, you may not appreciate what people do in their life, but it never hurts to be nice to anybody.
You have a favorite food, drink?
Oh, food. I'm on a seafood diet, Greg.
You seafood, you
I
eat it?
seafood and I eat it.
What about music? You still love music?
I love music. I really love music. In fact, I played until 4 years ago. I played in the orchestra at church, but I had some jaw surgery and I had to give it up. But I have a quote from Leonard Bernstein. You talking about music, and I like all music.
I do too. I can get some of all of it.
Well, Leonard Bernstein, they asked him what about his favorite music. He said, got good music. He said, all music's good. There's some better than others. He said, there's good jazz, there's bad jazz, there's good country, there's bad country, and there's some Bach that's not quite as good as others. So he couldn't say there was bad Bach.
No, some Bach not quite as good as others. I got you. Great to have you, Dick.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
Wish you the best. It's good to see you, man. Appreciate you taking the time to visit with us.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Tell Jeff and the crew hello.
Hey, Jeff, we need to have all y'all come out and play at Swan Lake.
Swan Lake. Dick Hopper's been our guest. Steve Sawyer behind the scenes for yours truly, Greg Walker, the retired coach teacher. Until next time, have a nice rest of the day, folks.